Just a week after the Republicans faced some trouble in the midterms, the former US President Donald Trump has announced that he's coming back. He's running again for the White House. Joining us live now is the former communications director for President Trump's transition team, Bryan Lanza. Bryan, I mean, he could have just sat in a hammock for the next couple of years. Well, why go back again?
Well, thank you very much for having me. I mean, I think we've all learned from this president. He just has a tremendous amount of energy, and sitting in a hammock is not an option.
Why not give Ron DeSantis clear air? I mean, he was one of the star performers during the midterms. He is claimed by many to be the future of the party. Donald Trump will be 78 in 2 years' time. Why not hand it to the younger buck?
Yeah, because he still feels he has a lot to contribute. I mean, I think he looks at the first 3 years of his administration nostalgically as accomplishing a lot. You know, COVID obviously stunted the final fourth year, but he still feels he has a lot to accomplish. Remember, he completed a lot of promises his first 4 years, and he has more promises for tomorrow, and he'll be focused on that. But my guess is he still feels he needs to contribute.
Okay, yeah. I mean, people have pointed to what wasn't said yesterday. There was no reference to election denialism. There was no reference to abortion as well. It was a deliberate approach. Is that what we can expect now in the next 2 years?
I think 2 years is a long time to be deliberate, but I think you could see a calculated approach at key times where the president needs to be focused and the message needs to be focused as he tries to make the argument before the American people, specifically Republican voters, as he seeks a third run.
He's still got, these intensifying criminal investigations that are against him at the moment. How is that going to work? How is he going to push back against that to give himself some clear air to campaign on whatever his policies are going to be?
Yeah, listen, he's been investigated throughout his entire term. Even throughout the campaign, we found out that the U.S. government was investigating him illegally. So, I mean, being investigated and running for office is nothing new to him. Being investigated and being in office is nothing new to him. This is what happens when you break the power structure in D.C. They throw everything at you, and these investigations is just another step to try to stall and stun to the growth of him and his movement.
Is this... He's gone early. He has gone early for a campaign run, as I said, as we know, 2 years. I mean, is this also an attempt to kind of force the ball into Biden's court and try and get him to run again? Would you expect Biden to go again as well? And, he's a couple of years older.
Yeah. First of all, he's significantly older, not only a couple of years. But I think Joe Biden has said he feels comfortable running against Donald Trump again, and Donald Trump is ready to run again. I think we're barreling down a rematch. Unfortunately, it's going to be a race to the bottom and not a race to inspire.
Who would you be most concerned about from the Democrats? Would it be Biden or would it be someone else, someone younger perhaps?
Oh, definitely somebody younger. I think Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, has an ability to galvanize the Democratic Party base unlike anybody else. I think Governor Phil Murphy of New Jersey, has shown that he can survive these sort of radical waves that come in. I mean, there are a lot of people on the Democratic bench that scare us, but you know who doesn't scare us? Kamala Harris. We would welcome a race against Kamala Harris.
Well, it'd be interesting to see whether she goes. I mean, because she's been attached to so many of Joe Biden's failures. I mean, but what about someone even younger than Newsom? And Newsom says that he's not going to run again in 2 years, not for president anyway. We'll see what happens there. But maybe someone like Pete Buttigieg. Would that be a threat?
No, I mean, listen, Pete was a mayor of a small town. He's a cabinet secretary. He still has a long way to go. I mean, he ran a good campaign, but at the end of the day, he came significantly short. I don't think we're worried about Pete Buttigieg, sort of the young. I think we're worried about sort of more established, people with real records of governing. Pete Buttigieg just doesn't have that.
We saw in the final days of the last Trump presidency how divided America was, and it still is so divided. Can you expect that? Is there going to be any change there in the short term?
No, it's going to be living hell. We're going to be even more divided. Families are not going to show up to Christmas together. Birthdays are going to be, you're going to be disinvited at Thanksgiving. I mean, the politics in America is so toxic right now that it only guarantees that we become more divided.
Wow, that's a worrying sign moving forward, Bryan.
It is, but we'll get through it.